you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet.
Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
All right, hey, how we doing out there tonight all across this great republic of ours and around the world? It's that time once again for the Conservative Syndicate. We're glad to have you with us today. I am your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And we're going to try to continue to do what we do the best on this show, and that is to educate, inform, and engage you, our listening audience, on the politics of religion and the religion of politics. And I want to start the show out real quick here. I'm going to get my partner in crime out on here. Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm just powering through. I'm going to power through it, John. It's Wednesday, and we just do that. And thanks for everybody for being here. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. And don't leave, or we'll come and hunt you down.
Well, we got a... yeah. I'm feeling a little bit not under the weather, just lethargic today. Physically, the weather out here in California has just been atrociously hot out here, even for California, because we've got a real bad streak of humidity coming through here. Heat in California is not too bad when it's that dry desert heat that we're used to, but humidity just I'm like a human barometer. When humidity hits, my body says so bear with me if I have maybe a few more Bushisms than I normally do during the course of the show.
Well, you better not come to Florida.
I might overheat. a little bit, and due to dehydration. I only drink about 5 gallons of water a day, So anyway, yeah. I don't know. I think I kind of feel like I was talking to some people today. I had to get on the phone today to a few people. And, of course, everybody wanted to know my take on the debate. But there was this general feeling from everyone I talked to of disappointment in Donald Trump. Just because they were looking for Donald Trump to show up. That's the way it was put to me. He wasn't himself. He seemed timid. He seemed afraid. He seemed spooked, that kind of thing. And I said, well, I think perhaps he was. There was something. He was not his normal self. And some of them even observed things like after the debate was over, how the Clintons basically ruled the stage. And the Trump family just kind of disappeared off to the side somewhere, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I said, but, they had a rally yesterday. Both of them went to rallies yesterday. And Clinton had all of 300 people. And Trump had somewhere between 10 and 12,000 show up at the airport he was at.
He had 5,000 people that could not get into his rally because the fire marshal wouldn't let them in. There were so many people.
Yeah, and then as we were talking about that yesterday in the show, you said there was like 27,000 out there watching it on YouTube or live stream or something?
A live stream, there's 27,000 watching it streamed live on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, I was reading some stats this morning. They had over 100 viewers on YouTube during the debate. So, I mean, that's a massive amount of people. So, people are looking. They're looking at it. They're watching what's going on. And but Hillary just, that enthusiasm gap, as they call it, it's more like an enthusiasm canyon. Forget the gap. It's more like a crevice, a cataclysmic crevice, a submarine canyon, kind of thing. Oh, yeah, and I don't know. And, this is what I noticed. You tell me if you noticed this, Joe. I noticed this morning, all during the morning and afternoon today, when I come out here and I do my prep, very, very few articles are being posted right now about the debate. Normally, this holds, this is a week's worth of conversation with the media. And, there's a few articles out there, but not the normal, smothering of the airways with analysis and taking every single thing apart. I can only draw from that conclusion that even though the Clinton camp believes they did such a marvelous, or she did such a marvelous job, that nobody really wants to talk about the debate because nobody wants to really remind anybody what was brought up at the debate.
Yeah, they don't want to remind that, what was the original, anything original come from Hillary Clinton at that debate the other day?
No.
Any of her answers, was it anything original? Any of it? Was there something that hadn't been said by a Democrat running for president in the last, 30 years?
Well, certainly nothing that she has said that was different from when she started this campaign over a year ago. It was just, some of the about the only thing that did change, or not really change, but the only thing that was evident. Now, how do I put this? Outside of the rehearsed talking points, were the rehearsed barbs at Trump to try to, lure him in.
Were they rehearsed? You think she actually rehearsed those? Did you really? You think she spent a week just memorizing these things, looking down at her notes to go, this is what I need to say here. I must talk like this. I must tell everybody. And I must point at that imaginary friend at every event I ever have.
Well, I one thing I noticed, and during the debate, she did look down at her podium a lot. So she definitely had some notes in front of her that would at least key her as to, where are you going to go if he says this, that kind of stuff. I mean, it seemed obvious to me, but I don't know. If somebody rehearsed and practiced as much as she claimed she did, when she was asked about, or Trump was kind of alluding to the fact that she was not in the public eye right now because of her sickness. He didn't say it that way, but, she's not out at rallies. She's not doing really anything, that kind of stuff. Even, you would think that if you rehearse something 100 times, and the people that are coaching you would say, you need a little bit more emotion there, or you need to loosen up a little bit. You would think that after maybe 100 times of trying one of her practice lines, that it would have been a little bit more. It could have at least appeared a little bit more spontaneous. But
not Hillary.
No, there is no, because there is no imagination in this woman other than the same imagination that Barack Obama possesses, and that's what it would be like to be the world leader. What would it be like to be standing up in front of the masses of every shape, color, gender, and everything else, and just have them, just being ecstatic and throwing them wreaths at me as I walk by, and this, that, and the other. That could be the only imagination this woman has, or maybe finally got my father's approval, that kind of stuff. I don't know, but it just. I don't know. But I have to admit, and I think by now, the Clinton camp said they won, the Trump camp said they won, blah, blah, let's move on.
But the Gary Johnson camp said he won.
I'm sorry?
The Gary Johnson camp said he won.
Oh, yeah. And the Lester Holt camp said he won. So.
and the crazy thing is the Cleveland Browns said that they won.
And, of course, we got the Americans out there to say, try that little quasi-patriotic little thing you hear surface every now and then from the pseudo-intellectuals. Today, America lost. Okay, yeah, right.
Really? Today? We probably lost, I don't know.
Yeah, well.
25 years ago, maybe?
Yeah. America lost, quite a while ago. So,
America lost, I don't know, in 1964.
Yeah, it would. Well, I just always come back to that Benjamin Franklin cliche. You have a republic if you can keep it. So, and Franklin wasn't talking about the Russians hacking computers as being the downfall of America. Okay, he was talking about the enemy from within. You know,
he wasn't the only one to say that. I'm gonna. As we go through the break, I'm gonna look up another one that kind of mentions that. Somebody else, a prominent American history said something.
I think you might be looking for Abraham Lincoln.
I know it's Lincoln, but I was going to actually find the quote.
Yeah, I don't remember. I could paraphrase it. Something about, if we're taken down, it's going to be from the enemies from within or something like that. I'm really paraphrasing it, but yeah. Anyway, what we're going to do here, we're going to go to a break. We're going to talk a little bit more about the debate, just because there's some things that we didn't get to yesterday just due to time. But there are other things going on. And I want to get back to the main issue, what I think should be the main issue, the main thing that Trump talks about every time he opens his mouth, and that is Hillary Clinton's ongoing scandals. And the one that's at the top of the heap right now is the email scandal. There's more. There's more. You think we've bottomed out on the lies and corruption and cover-ups and everything? No, there's a whole lot more. And the FBI stepping into it now to a different degree also. So we're going to talk about that. DHS head Jay Johnson is pushing more towards the idea of nationalizing the election process to make sure that everybody gets a fair chance to vote. And liberal speak translation, what it means, we make sure that the Democrats get all the votes no matter what, that kind of thing. What else did I have on our thing here, on my little agenda here? Another Clinton aide has surfaced. This one was the one that was actually responsible for sending classified information, meaning she was supposed to be the one monitoring it, I guess, and didn't do such a good job. So we'll get to all that today, and put your listening ears on. Liberals out there, take off your tin hat and pay attention. You might learn something. We'll be back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. Okay, well, let's get into today's festivities. If you don't know who you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. But I know if you've tuned into this program, you've tuned into it by deliberately and for a reason, either to love us or hate us. And I'm okay either way. I'm okay either way, as long as you're listening. That's all that matters to me. All right, let's see here. What do I want to do? Oh, I know what I wanted to hit first on.
I found the quote.
What's that?
I said I found that quote.
You found the what?
The quote.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So, yeah, quote Lincoln was talking about. Okay, so we were talking about the quote.
Oh, yeah, okay, the quote. I'm sorry. I said a little lethargic today. Nothing. Things are not quite hitting my ear the way they normally do. Yeah, it was from Abraham Lincoln. You want to read it?
Yeah, so this is what Lincoln was talking about. Shall we expect some transatlantic military giant to step the ocean and crush us at a blow? Never. All the armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa combined, with all the treasure of the earth, our own excepted, in their military chest with a Bonaparte for a commander, could not by force take a drink from the Ohio or make a track on the Blue Ridge in a trail of 1,000 years. At what point, then, is the approach of danger to be expected? I answer, if it ever reach us, it must spring up amongst us. It cannot come from abroad. If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we must live through all time or die by suicide.
Yeah. And I was thinking, as you were reading it, I was thinking of Ronald Reagan's quote, we're only one generation away from extinction. Every generation has to earn the bones of being an American. It's not given to you. It's not something you're entitled to. You've been given it, but you need to fight for it. You need to defend it. You need to understand, and even more so in this day and age, it might help if you understood what it means. You know, this whole...
It might help if you were trying to come to this nation and to try to be an American, not to be an expatriate of the place you're leaving.
Right, exactly right. And I was in a little bit of a conversation the other day. One of my school friends, we went to school together. We were a year apart, but we were at the same school. And she's kind of like what I call a quasi-conservative type. There's some things that she really grasps and understands and believes in when it comes to conservatism. But there's also some things that she believes and expounds on at times to just irritate the living hell out of me. A Christian that tells me that homosexuality is acceptable, that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
Okay. But yet, on the other side, she agrees with me that abortion is terrible, that kind of stuff. Anyway, she had put a post out the other day talking about how great it was that we had people at the at an NFL game, not the players, but I guess there was a large segment of the audience or something that was protesting. A bunch of college kids. I saw the picture. She posted the article and everything. A bunch of college kids out there watching a football game, and protesting the national anthem by not standing up, and that kind of stuff. And she was saying, remember back in the 60s when we were going to change the world and everything? And she goes, I hope these kids can do it, that kind of stuff. I think it's great that people have the right to protest and blah, blah, blah. And, I was telling her, I said, they certainly have the right to express their First Amendment views. The First Amendment gives them the right to do that. I would never say they don't have the right to do that. What I would say is they're idiots, okay, because the fact that they don't have an appreciation of what it is they're protesting. There's a difference between understanding what you're protesting and just protesting because that's what the gang is doing, okay? In college, you're still under that peer pressure thing. The Bernie Sanders movement was nothing more than peer pressure. Uncle Bernie wants to pay for college. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's do it. Hey, you got a bong? That kind of stuff.
They were out there today with that. Free college in the backdrop. Oh, it's just like, really?
Yeah.
Free college. Wow.
So
you get what you pay for.
Yeah, well, you can express your views, but just because you're expressing them doesn't mean they're intelligent or even true.
It doesn't mean I have to agree with them either.
No, and you don't have to agree with them. And, there were a lot of people responding to her, telling her how unpatriotic. These people should stand for the national anthem and this and that. And I'm like, no, I understand where she's coming from. People have the right to express their views. But just because they're expressing them doesn't make them viable, doesn't make them true, doesn't make them relevant. See, that's the problem. We want everybody's opinion to be relevant. Not everybody's opinion is relevant. Okay, you can have it, but if you don't understand, if you've never served in the military, you don't have any right to try to tell people who have served in the military how they should be serving. If you've never been in a police officer's uniform, you have no right to tell a police officer that he needs to hesitate a little bit longer before he shoots a criminal in case, that kind of stuff. You don't live in these people's situations. You have no understanding of it. Therefore, you have no grasp of what it is you're protesting. So, if you're going to, if I can steal the line from Jack Nicklaus in A Few Good Men, until you grab a piece and stand a post, I don't really give a damn what you think.
Yeah, I get you. Absolutely. I don't. You go ahead, but just so. When the epiphany comes, don't expect me to be there to hold your hand and hand you a Kleenex.
Yeah. So get out and do something with your life besides sitting around college, beer bonging and everything else and trying to tell us how the world is going to be a better place. By the way, I told her, we did try to change the world in the 60s, and look what it got us.
Yeah, exactly. Look who's running the damn country right now.
It got us the Clintons. Okay? And if that isn't the beginning of the downfall that Abraham Lincoln just spoke of here, we just quoted from, there it is, right there. You put people in power that have never outgrown their ideology that they can make the world a better place if we all just join hands, sing Kumbaya, and change our national anthem to teach the world to sing.
Well, that's exactly how Hillary Clinton became the power, because she said, why fight the system when just go ahead and become the system?
Yeah, the Sal Alinsky stuff. So anyway, we've been talking to, remember last week it was, I believe. It may have been the week before. Time goes by so fast. We were talking about this election being about globalism versus nationalism, much more, at least more evident in the public square. Okay, and we know what it is now. The establishment types and the globalists have always known what it is. We're just now beginning to understand what it is, and that is that the globalists have an agenda. The globalists have been running the program for quite a while now. We thought we were running it, and they've been running it, and we've been under this illusion and delusion in some cases that we really, have a say as to how the political mechanism works. And we've talked about the fact that there is no real political affiliation anymore other than what degree of globalism or what method of globalism and what motivation for globalism you adhere to. And unfortunately, I think that's a lot of the problems with some of our Republican friends and quasi-conservative friends who just can't get behind Trump. They're so sold into the globalist narrative, and they really think it has to do with political affiliation and ideology, and they just haven't seen the forest for the trees yet. And that's a sad state of affairs, because a lot of them I know are very intelligent, and more intelligent than me for that matter, a lot of them, but just have been so, the ideological narrative has been so pounded into them that they can't recognize that has been the game. The game has been to pound this globalist ideological narrative into us, into believing that we are telling our elected officials what to do, when in actuality they're listening to us, but they don't really give a damn.
Yeah, they're not going to play. Yeah, they don't care.
They
absolutely will not play. They got their own agenda. Yeah, they're going to mouth the words to get elected. But the minute they're in D.C., they're going to do what they want to do.
Yeah, so the reason I'm bringing all this up,
there had to be a reason.
One of the topics in the debate the other night never really went into it to the depth they should have, because I don't think either candidate really understands it, and that was the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is Obama's attempt at globalizing the economy, making it a world economy rather than a national economy. And lo and behold, I just found this. I think I was looking at something else, and I saw the title. It's kind of like one of these links on a page on an article you're reading. And this is from the Nikkei Asian Review. All right, this is a business section of an account. The Nikkei Asian Review is kind of like a global magazine for Asian Pacific business people, right? And it's written by some guy, I don't know if I pronounce his name right, Naoya Yoshino, who's a staff writer for the Nikkei Asian Review. He says, globalization appeared to be the loser Monday as the presidential debate between Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton and Republican Donald Trump made clear that the world may see a more insular America regardless of who wins. Initially treated as a fringe candidate, Trump unexpectedly secured the Republican nomination, winning over voters with his America First message and unorthodox approach to campaigning. Though the real estate tycoon refrained from slinging insults during Monday's debate outside New York City, his nativist views were in evidence throughout. Trump blasted allies such as Japan, South Korea, Germany, and Saudi Arabia, claiming they do not pay a fair share of the cost of defense, such as for Japan's hosting of U.S. troops. On trade, he contended that countries such as Mexico and China are stealing American jobs. Clinton, on the other hand, called for maintaining existing diplomatic and security policy. The former Secretary of State referred pointedly to the questioning and worries on the part of many leaders across the globe stirred by Trump's campaign. I want to assure our allies in Japan and South Korea and elsewhere that we have mutual defense treaties and we will honor them, she said. And I'll give you this right here. This is the punchline.
Yeah.
Yet both candidates oppose the Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Pact.
No, one of them does.
Yeah, one of them does. One of them says she does. There's a difference. The overriding sentiment that free trade costs U.S. jobs evoked the image of a more inward-looking nation than the superpower that once drove globalization. And think about that for a minute. The superpower that once drove globalization.
Yeah, what did we have?
Now, here it is. The TPP is a cornerstone of President Barack Obama's diplomatic rebalance to the Asia-Pacific region and a key part of efforts to rein in China's aggressive assertion of maritime territorial claims. Neither Trump nor Clinton offered clear solutions on how to deal with China's rise, nor on how to tackle terrorism or North Korea's nuclear development. Now, what I get from this, you tell me if I'm wrong, Joe, what I'm getting from this guy over in Japan, he's telling us basically that Barack Obama's diplomatic rebalancing to the Asia-Pacific region is the key to neutralizing China.
That's bullcrap. That's not what it's about.
No, it's not. It's about the globalization of the economy. That's what it's about. It's about tearing down the American economy even more and requiring more dependence on other countries for economic prosperity.
Look, it's the EU on steroids, okay? That's what the TPP is. It's exactly why the Brits wanted to leave the EU. The same thing, only it's going to be more countries because there's more countries involved because we're talking about the Pacific Rim. But yes, it's the same damn thing.
And all this is about, this is another plank in the Obama resume to get him in the head of the UN. I'm telling you, as sure as day, that's what this is about. This TPP is about protecting not only Barack Obama's diplomacy, his reputation as a diplomat, and the ability to solve problems without firing a shot, if I can steal one of the leftist talking points. You know, the Iran deal, oh yeah, we disarmed Iran of nuclear capabilities without firing a single shot. Like that really happened.
That's funny.
Okay, so what he's doing here is he's saying, in essence, the TPP is Obama's attempt to perhaps bribe the rest of the world into agreement with him as to what should be taking place. Oh, wow, we're past time here. We got to go on a break. I got so carried away here, I forgot about the time. All right, hey, look, we'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
Talk Radio, WRS Ever wonder how the credit card companies make their money? Well, think about this. If you owe $25,000 on 5 different credit cards and you make your minimum payments every month, here's what it's going to cost you. Are you sitting down? You'll shell out over $13,000 in additional interest, and it's going to take over 13 years to pay off your original $25,000 balance. That's how they make money. Now it's your turn to fight back by calling the Debt Solutions Network. We'll work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. We promise we can and will reduce your debt. Call right now for a free 15-minute debt analysis. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
If you've got joint pain, let me ask you a question. Would you like a high-quality knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Now, just in case your reception isn't great, let me ask you again. Would you like a pain-relieving knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Well, if you have Medicare insurance, you could qualify for these pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And these are high-quality braces. They are very comfortable, and they've helped thousands relieve their pain. Now, I'd like you to imagine going on vacation, playing with your grandkids, just living your life again without pain. The Mobility Hotline is a referral service that connects folks with Medicare coverage and other insurance to accredited companies offering pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And don't you worry about the Medicare paperwork. They'll handle it all for you. And they'll deliver your braces for free. Call the Mobility Hotline now. The call's free. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and I'm going to shift gears here. We were just talking about the idea that the world, especially over in the Pacific Rim, are paying close attention to what's going on in this presidential election because what they feel or what they fear is the loss of the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Yeah, well, they think it'll be good for them. It'll be bad for America.
Yeah.
Good for them. And the thing is let's just remember about this. This is being touted right now as a trade deal, an economic deal. But just like the European Union was a trade agreement in its beginning, and that as it stands right now, and the biggest reason why the Brits left it, had the Brexit, was it became a political deal, right, where you had unelected bureaucrats in a foreign land telling you how you are going to have things done in your country.
And that's the recipe for the entire globalist movement, the New World Order, whatever you want to put on it, Agenda 21, whatever is out there, okay? Climate change, all this stuff ties into one thing, globalization of the world, moving everything under one central command, a few central planners chosen because of their ability to either lie or cheat or whatever. And that, I guess that would put Clinton certainly on the list of the most qualified, and the most experienced. Let's use her phrase. Yeah, she may be the most experienced person ever to run for president. Experienced in corruption, lying, scandals, everything that you don't want in a politician. But certainly great qualifications for somebody sitting on the board of directors at the New World Order Corporation, that kind of thing. And so I want to move on to a different thing, talking about Hillary Clinton, because this is the one thing I'm hoping Donald Trump does in these next two debates. And if he doesn't do this, I don't think anything else is going to matter in terms of him burying Clinton. It's not that I'm going to think, okay, if he loses the debates, he's not going to get any, he's not going to win. I'm not really sure at this point in time the debates really are going to sway a lot of people one way or the other. The panel I was on the other night, they were talking about, there's like 10 to 15% of voters undecided. Some people think 20%. I don't think that's the case at all. I think you're talking about a very small segment of the voting population that hasn't made their mind up. I think it's more along the line of people knowing who they're going to vote for but not wanting to admit it.
Yeah, I think there's more of that going on than anything else. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that, well, and rightfully so, because if they are thinking about voting for Donald Trump and they probably reside in places where that would not be a very popular thing to do,
right?
Because of where they live.
Yeah,
that being democratically controlled inner city, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and the reason I say that, there was two things that I heard consistently during the debate that gave me pause. One thing I heard during the debate, and then what I'm seeing out there in cyberspace right now. As I just mentioned briefly here, I'll go back to it, but I'll just mention it real quickly. The DHS wanting to get involved in nationalizing the election process at the state level. There could be only one reason they want to do that, and that is because they're afraid those dead Democrats won't be able to vote. Or they want the ability to be able to manipulate. We want to make sure Pennsylvania right now, Donald Trump, I guess, is like 2 points ahead of Hillary. We want to make sure those districts that have 106% turnout maintain their voting integrity, that kind of stuff. They want
100% of the votes to go to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. We want to make sure of that. But more to the point here, and this is where. As we were talking the other night, I had to agree. Like I said, I talked to a bunch of people here during the day. Not a bunch of people, but a few. And they were really disappointed in Trump's performance in terms of, we really thought he was going to nail this bitch to the wall. That's how one guy said it to me. I thought he was really going to nail that bitch to the wall, and he didn't do it. And I'm looking at an article here from the New York Post, and I'm actually going to read you most of this article. And then we'll get to break, and we'll maybe talk about when we get back. I'll get Joe's take on this. Hillary failed as the Secretary of State. Why would President be any different? And this is written by the New York Post, Betsy McCoffey at the New York Post. Hillary Clinton boasts that her experience traveling to 112 countries as Secretary of State qualifies her to be president. Don't believe it. Evidence shows she left the State Department in shambles and our nation weaker. Her record at Foggy Bottom disqualifies her to be president. Her failures go beyond leaving 4 Americans to die in Benghazi on September 11, 2012, the ridiculous Russian reset, and the carnage in Syria that she and President Obama idly watched unfold, and that gets more horrific daily. A string of investigative reports from the Obama administration shows that she botched key management jobs as Secretary of State, threatening American lives and our diplomatic secrets. Let me read that again.
Yeah, please.
A string of investigative reports from the Obama administration. Transparency. What's the transparency? Why don't we see these investigations from the Obama administration? Shows that she botched key management jobs as Secretary of State, threatening American lives and our diplomatic secrets. So Obama's telling us she's the most qualified woman the most qualified person since Thomas Jefferson, and yet his administration was investigating her for her ability to do her job. Think about that just for a moment. Why have we not heard anything? I'll tell you why. It's Obama's legacy is at stake.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not going to come out and admit that he hired an idiot.
Well, it was part of the deal. It was part of the deal for her to make his time in the White House a little bit. Shall we say, she was going to be more cooperative.
Right. So now here we go. These are bullet points. I'm going to paraphrase some of them because I just want to get this information out to you. The investigative reports from the Obama administration, according to this author here, Betsy McCoffey at the New York Post. Clinton's State Department repeatedly rebuffed requests for additional security for the vulnerable compound at Benghazi, Libya. The result? Heavily armed terrorists were able to storm the compound and kill Ambassador Christopher Stevens and 3 other Americans.
Hey, they were just out walking around for the evening and decided to kill some Americans, as you said.
Okay. Now, I'm not so sure that came from any investigation of the Obama administration, but you get to my drift. Okay. Clinton failed to, he says, but Benghazi wasn't an isolated case. Clinton failed to secure diplomatic posts in Pakistan, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and other global hotspots. Internal State Department reports, here we go, Internal State Department reports show the posts lacked emergency plans in case of attack. Guards assigned to them had no training in chemical or biological threats, and amazingly, some hadn't undergone background checks.
Oh my goodness, no way.
Yeah, and we're gonna make sure that all these Syrian refugees are vetted. It said Clinton tried to weasel out taking the blame for Benghazi, testifying to Congress that she wasn't personally involved in embassy security. But emails later revealed that was false, and we talked about it on this show. She, by law, she is the only one that could have done that.
Yep, absolutely. We've gone over that a billion times. I mean, yes, she was running the department, so the responsibility was hers. Period.
She's the only one that could have proved or disapproved what Ambassador Stevens was requesting by law.
Yes, and Mr. Hicks testified to that in front of Congress.
Right. So it goes on to say here, investigators also point to Clinton's total neglect of cybersecurity. The Bush administration, reeling from the attack of the World Trade Center, had made it a top priority to protect information flow among embassies, the CIA, and the FBI. But Clinton dropped the ball, creating what the department's inspector general called undue risk in the management of information. In November 2013, the IG issued an alert to the State Department's top executives about the urgent, recurring weakness in cybersecurity that had been red flagged in 6 previous reports between 2011 and 2013, almost all on Clinton's watch. The recurring weaknesses had still not been addressed, including vulnerabilities to hackers. Well, we know that's the case because apparently hackers are hacking into everything.
The hackers.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read this last line here, and then we got to go to a break. One of those previous reports from July 2013, shortly after Clinton's departure, described how much of the cybersecurity work was actually being done by contractors rather than department staff, contrary to government policy. And we know that was true because it was contractors that set up all of Clinton's stuff. Okay? John Battelle, in charge of state cybersecurity during the Clinton's tenure, is one of the 5 State Department staffers who demanded immunity before talking to the FBI investigators about Clinton's private server scheme. All right? There you go. And Comey is telling us that he didn't grant these immunities for the purpose of clearing these people or not being able to prosecute. It was because it would have taken too long to get what he wanted had he gone through regular channels. I heard Krauthammer the other night say the FBI has never granted immunity to anybody. It's the Attorney General that does it. So the FBI did something on their own, maybe at the blessing of the Attorney General, who had recused herself. Because why? Because she'd been hanging out with Bill Clinton in Arizona at the airport. All right? Just think, roll this stuff over your head, put these pieces together, and you see what's going on here. We got to go to a quick break. We'll be right back. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. The Conservative Syndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring.
Get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net. Exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back. And just a quick reminder, take a gander at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, when you get a chance. Weekend's the best time to do it. You get a whole week's worth of our shows. You can go through and read the descriptions as to what they are and what they're about, and pick and choose whichever you want to listen to. TheConservativeSyndicate.net. I want to get right back into this article that we're reading from the New York Post, written by Betsy McCoffey, and she lists in here all the shortcomings, all the failures of Hillary Clinton. By the way, the thing to emphasize here is that at least there were some people, internal investigators, the what do you call it, the IG. God, why can't I? Attorney, what is it? An IG, Inspector General. Okay, all right, Inspector General, who found several problems with the handling of cybersecurity and the way that things went down within that State Department. And we mentioned about the fact that she was using private contractors rather than government employees and agencies, which is against government policy. And she was doing all this on the outside. We mentioned John Bentel, who was in charge of the State Department cybersecurity during Clinton's tenure, who probably should have been a whistleblower. He should have been out there as an employee of the State Department, should have been saying something about this. Certainly he knew protocol and policy. But he was one of the 5 State Department staffers. 5 people in the State Department joined up and went along with this, at least 5 that we know of. I mean, of course, then all their subordinates would also go along with it, because you're not going to buck the person above you.
And he told people not to talk of Hillary Clinton's email server anymore.
Yeah, he said that he apparently took his duties regarding Clinton's secret server more seriously than his duties to safeguard national cybersecurity. According to an IG report, he instructed his subordinates not to discuss the secretary's emails. And we found that out. I think Huma Abedin also admitted to that. That
yes.
there was a general understanding that you're not supposed to talk about this.
Yes,
I know what it was.
Not supposed to talk about it. Barack Obama, as he's using a pseudonym, as he was talking to Hillary Clinton on her private email server, when he said, "No, I didn't."
Yeah, I think we really went to town on this when we reported on this show about the revelation that the computers in Hillary Clinton's office had no security at all, had no virus. They took everything out. And it was for a certain amount of time, because it was conflicting with Hillary Clinton's ability to use her BlackBerry. Okay, she never even used her desktop, but there was I guess it was a central computer in there somewhere that had no virus control, no malware software or anything like that, because apparently the network messed up Hillary Clinton's BlackBerry.
And and they do that sometimes. In business operations, they do that sometimes. But when they do it, they call it a honeypot, and that's where they want everybody to go in and hack into that one, so they can see how they're hacking into stuff. They use it as a tool to prevent email disclosures into.
Yeah, but this was being done because it was messing up her ability to use her BlackBerry.
So this is kind of like, I don't want to be inconvenienced.
Yeah, everything is inconvenience, a matter of convenience. It was convenience to get the BlackBerry. It was convenience to get all these things.
Okay,
now,
so we've now talked about Hillary, the Benghazi. We talked about the State Department, her Russian reset. Let's see, what else we talked about? Diplomatic post security in Pakistan, in Ethiopia. The other thing we didn't talk about as we move along here, when we're talking about this, the other thing we didn't talk about here is Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama's inability to get a SOFA agreement in Iran, allowing them to pull all the troops out, which created the vacuum, which allowed ISIS and ISIL and the Daesh and all the other names you want to call these terrorists, heathen animals, to create a stronghold.
Yeah, and it's important, you know, it's worth noting the way she defended that the other night was to say that the reason, it was like we were forced to pull our troops out because Iraq refused to supply the security necessary for our troops. I don't know about you, but my head just kind of rocked when I heard that. I'm like, wait a minute. We're over in their turf defending and protecting them, and you're pulling troops out because they can't defend and protect us.
Yeah. And this is the administration that was able to secure a quote-unquote nuclear agreement with the world's greatest state sponsor of terrorism, Iran.
And we're already...
they couldn't get a SOFA agreement in a country we had just defeated their dictator government.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, in line with that. I want to just step back a minute here, and I want to just let me rephrase this.
Okay.
Hillary Clinton claims that the reason we pulled the troops out of the Middle East over there was Iran, Afghanistan, Iran, I believe, Iraq. It was Iraq. Okay, we pulled the troops out because they could not guarantee the safety of our troops. That's the paraphrased. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there thinking, if we needed that type of guarantee, first, how are you going to do it? You guys don't have anything to protect us with. And second, if you were so good at protecting us, why did we need to be there in the first place?
Yeah, why didn't you just take care of this problem yourself?
Yeah,
well, that's right, because you were inept. And speaking of inept, we have Hillary Clinton being Secretary of State.
Yeah, we talk about...
For you, John, here's just not to get really off the subject, but do we have troops in Iraq anymore?
Yes, we do.
That's absolutely correct. Yes, we certainly do.
I mean, the whole argument, you have to be a liberal to be able to hear that and process it and say, oh, yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Yeah.
We had to leave because we weren't assured that our men who were over there fighting the war because they have no defense couldn't be defended.
We had to leave because it wasn't safe to be there.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus. If you just listen to it, and like I said, the downside of it is Trump completely missed that.
Yeah. Well, that time, let's see. He's got a couple more shots at it.
Let's see.
He's going to do much better in the next ones.
Yeah, maybe he just went in there with the idea, okay, let's see what the bitch throws at me, and then we'll hit it next time, that kind of stuff. Obviously, like I said, I think the reason why nobody's talking about it is that there hasn't been any real dip in the polls so far from what the few polls that we've heard about. There hasn't been any real loss on Trump's behalf. So, and if that's the case, I guarantee you, then what we're saying here on this show is that people have pretty much made their minds up. There's not this big gap of people out there that don't know who they're going to vote for.
No, he's got thousands of people showing up at his rally still. I got a feeling that there's no drop-off in enthusiasm for Donald Trump. Yeah. And I think there's the same amount of enthusiasm for Hillary that she had before the debate, which is almost nothing.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll see how that comes down the pipe here as it plays out here. Yeah. We're coming up on the end of the hour here. We've got to toss out the Edwards notebook here, and then we'll pay some bills, and then we'll be right back. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
Certain people are so focused on toppling America that they will even try to convince the world that protecting our borders is now bigoted. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, the Islamic bloc at the United Nations has joined forces with the likes of President Obama, Mrs. Clinton, Harry Reid, and all American progressives who have labeled presidential candidate Donald Trump and right-wing politicians in Europe who want to protect the sovereignty of their respective nations as xenophobes and bigots. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation also condemned the media outlets who report on Islamic terrorism. The Islamists blame the reporting on terrorism rather than the terrorism itself for causing civilized people to not to want to be around Muslims. I'm sorry, but the Quran instructs Muslims to kill, enslave, or brutally overtax non-Muslims. And talk about bigots. It's the Muslims who are taught from birth to hate Jews and that black people have no souls and are raisin heads. Let's not forget, it was Muslims who declared war on America and the West in 1979. So yes, America will soon protect our borders, and if progressives and Muslims don't like it, too bad. I'm Ron Edwards.
A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. The Conservative Syndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Hey, all you you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet. Saying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
Hey, we're back. Whether you like it or not, you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, hour 2, coast to coast and around the world. We're glad to have you with us this great afternoon here. 2 days out from the debate now. And we're tying up some loose ends here in terms of, one, to further expose Hillary Clinton for what she is, and 2, to remind you of what she is, and 3, to remind Donald Trump of what he should be saying.
We were talking about that, John, we should probably talk a little bit about our emails, but let's finish this thing up about the State Department.
Because there's a couple other things here. This is a recap, kind of like a recap offered by Betsy McGoffey out there at the New York Post as to the dismal failure of Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State. The other night at the debate, Trump just brushed the surface of it. And when she said, "Well, I've been a state senator, and I've been a State Department, and I've been a senator," and he said, "Yeah, and you made everything a mess," and just left it at that. You know, those are the moments where you say, "Yeah, and this is what you did not. This is what you accomplished." This is what you accomplished. We got 4 people dead in Benghazi. We have other posts out there that also had major problems with security. You failed to take care of them. And no, it wasn't your fault. Or yes, it was your fault that the security issue in Benghazi wasn't taken care of, because by law, you're the only one that could have done it. You know, that kind of, and you could have gone down the list. And I'm looking at her list now. I want to sum up these other things here. She goes on to tell us here that one of the other offenses is Clinton's neglect of the entire department's digital security, exposing communications between thousands of agents and diplomats across the globe. Even after WikiLeaks released 250,000 confidential State Department documents in 2010, Clinton didn't plug the holes in the state's cyber setup. Yet on Monday's debate, Clinton had the nerve to claim that she takes threats to the nation's cybersecurity very seriously. Okay? Yeah, when the cybersecurity in terms of people being able to read my emails, she takes that real seriously. And being able to detect or find out or discover things like Barack Obama used a pseudonym to contact her and talk to her. I wonder what those emails are about.
Yeah, but he told us he found out about it like everybody else on the news.
Yeah. And we will talk about it a little bit later when we get into the FBI thing. What about the out of the 33,000 emails, or what was it? They recovered 15,000 emails? They've recovered some emails. There's so many of them. 1,000 of them were deleted from David Petraeus. Remember this guy? General David Petraeus, the guy that actually was found guilty of compromising security information?
Security information.
1,000 of his emails were deleted.
Oh my goodness! Wow, he got in trouble for it though.
Okay, let's finish up on this.
Yeah.
Hillary. Here's one that doesn't get enough airtime. Hillary's management of finances at the state, $6 billion unaccounted for. $6 billion with a B. $6 billion unaccounted for. I wonder how much of that money ended up in the Clinton Foundation. And you think, she's out there ranting and raving about what's Donald Trump trying to hide with his tax returns. Yeah, what are you trying to hide? What happened to $6 billion? Probably went to these contractors that they weren't supposed to have. They went somewhere. Maybe $1.7 billion of it went to Iran in exchange for for hostages.
No. They had to do that. In the dead of night with unmarked bills.
Yeah, but if the money's missing, where did the money come from?
Now, that went somewhere else, I don't know, to pay for, I don't know, maybe some Chipotle somewhere.
Yeah, and here's the last one here that I hadn't even thought about. In fact, I didn't even know about, unless we're talking about the Secret Service guys down in Colombia with hookers and getting drunk, covering up several investigations into sexual misconduct and prostitution at the state. I mean, if that was happening at the state, we're not talking about Secret Service guys.
Brings a new definition to diplomatic relations.
Yeah, and the investigators, and I'm assuming they're talking about the Inspector General, complained of an appearance of undue influence and favoritism.
No.
So Patty ends this article by saying, so what are the odds Hillary would run the federal government with integrity, keep the nation safe, and get taxpayers more for their money? 0.
Yeah, exactly, 0.
All right, we're going to go to a quick break here. When we get back here, I'm going to give Joe some airtime here on this FBI stuff because that's starting to come back in front and center. A lot of things going on with the FBI. I think James Comey is trying to do as much as he can to help Hillary Clinton, should she win the White House, before he leaves office. I'm sure this guy's getting ready to bail. And just, with the actions he's taking right now, I can't help but think he's going to I'm going to do you some stuff here before I bail out of here so that you don't harass me once I leave. That kind of thing. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back, and you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And we're going to kind of shift gears here just a little bit. We're going to kind of go from overdrive maybe down to third gear here. Along the same line, along the same topic here, just a little bit different approach, I guess we could put it that way. We're talking about the failure of Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State, not even to mention her ineffectiveness as a senator. You know, she lauded during the debate about the number of bills that came to her regarding trade deals and the gauge, the standard she set everything on. And she never really expounded on what the standard was, other than the generic, if it was good for the American people, then it was good. Trump tried to attack her on NAFTA, but just didn't have enough substance to his argument to really hone in and be able to. I mean, there were several opportunities. He could have tied everything to Bill Clinton and made Clinton look bad. And he just didn't do it, especially when she offered up the comment that her husband did pretty good as president on the economy. I would have nailed that. Had that been me, I would have nailed that in a New York minute, if I can use that phrase. It's like, yeah, your husband benefited from the work of Ronald Reagan, and that's why there was such a prosperous time in the country during his tenure as president. And then look what he did on top of that. He created the housing meltdown that brought us into the Great Recession. And, the Republicans were complicit in stopping it, had knowledge of it, were complicit in stopping it. But let's not forget who started the whole thing, all right? So anyway, having said that, let me move on here to the latest FBI document dump. I like this phrase here. It's like we're starting to hear this more and more. The FBI is little by little here, and I think it's Comey's way of trying to pacify. I think he's trying to pacify his opponents. Am I right, Joe, in thinking, in my understanding, that he's actually getting ready to retire? He's just a few months away from retiring.
I think he's going to have to do something quickly. There's reports that he has ties to the Clinton Foundation now.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He's if he doesn't get out of the way soon, they're going to make sure he's out of the way soon.
Yeah. Well, I know that's probably that could actually be some type of leak generated from the Clinton side to get him out of office. To push him into retirement or something. The Lois Lerner trick. Let's just get him out of here, give him his pension, and let him go away. That kind of thing. But it also, if that's the case, that also explains to me why we're seeing some actions coming out of the FBI right now. Like I was just reading here during the break, Comey is telling the House committee here that the FBI within 2 years is going to have some kind of database on the number of violent deaths in cities caused by police officers.
Yeah, exactly. By civilians being shot by police.
Yeah, and the only reason they would want that is so that the FBI could somehow become involved in the investigation. And of course it's got to be some kind of civil rights violation. I mean, I can see this whole thing. The FBI obviously has become an extension. This is something I said at the beginning of the week, and I have said it before, and I'll probably continue to say it. How is it, or what? Well, we know how it is, and we know why it is. But does anybody else notice that every time the Clintons get involved with something or somebody, it turns corrupt?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always been corrupt, and that goes from the very beginning when they were in Arkansas. I mean, Tyson paying them off to keep them out of paying fines and everything for polluting the rivers in Arkansas. Yeah, with chicken crap, literally chicken crap.
Yeah, and Hillary Clinton getting fired from the law firm for what? Unethical conduct.
Oh, yeah, during the Watergate investigation. Yes, back in the day.
Yeah, getting kicked off the Watergate committee for what? Unethical conduct.
Yeah.
So it goes on, and now you put her in a position of power of the State Department, and look what's happened here. Gowdy's coming out the other day in his committee hearing saying, hey, we know that the State Department's been in collusion with these guys.
Well, it doesn't really matter what these guys in Congress are doing. I mean, the one guy was subpoenaed and said, screw your subpoena. And he just kicked back and drank some beers on his couch and watched reruns of The Guiding Light.
Yeah, and I love the way Congress does. I always think of Hans Blink, you know, the UN representative in Team America, the puppet cartoon that came out years ago. You know, we're going to pass a resolution and hold him in contempt. So what? They can frame it on his wall next to restraining orders. You know,
and we're going to send him a strongly worded letter.
Yes, and we're going to tell you we're really, really angry.
and if you're not careful, we're going to tell your mommy.
Yeah, and you know what? This Brian Pagliano will probably never ever get hired anywhere. But I bet you he never has to get hired anywhere. I wonder what he's got in his bank account. Probably a pseudonym under a pseudonym name over in Switzerland somewhere.
Yeah, I think his pseudonym is probably Barack Obama.
Yeah, that would be funny, huh?
Brian ought to be worried about having a tragic accident somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know, this guy, the list is long of associates with the Clinton campaign that even pose any type of a threat. You know, and when you've got 17 Secret Service agents that have worked for them over the course of their political career that are all dead, that's more than coincidence. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff out there.
Yeah. Hey, you want to get to this line from the debate that Trump had?
Sure, go for it. Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Okay, we got time to do this. Okay, so people talked about Trump, and this clip that we're going to play, this has things in it. One of them is going to show Lester Holt for being the munch that he is. Two, it's going to have what Donald Trump, his best line, some of what he should have continued to do and do more of, and it just shows how stupid some people really are when they think about this. So here we go. We're going to play this line here. This was poll tested to be or shown to be the best line from Donald Trump the other night.
Mr. Trump, we're talking about the burden that Americans have to pay, yet you have not released your tax returns. And the reason nominees have released their returns for decades is that voters will know if their potential president owes money to, who owes it to, and any business conflicts.
Negotiating our trade deal.
The IRS says an audit of your taxes, you're perfectly free to release your taxes during an audit. And so the question, does the public's right to know outweigh your personal...
Well, I told you.
Well, okay, so let's talk about this just a hair. It's not a requirement to release your tax returns, period. They're doing it, and as Lester so just brilliantly says, so the American people would know that the running for president doesn't have any conflicts of interest. Well, I don't know. There's a certain person running for president that's had her private email server hacked, and that's how we found her that she had a private email server. So how possible is it that she could be compromised? And there's conflicts of interest there, in that there. And this, and I love this one too. The IRS says it's all right for you to release your tax returns while you're under audit from the IRS.
Yeah. Yeah, and Trump never alluded to the fact. He never said that the IRS has forbidden him. This is how this stuff gets twisted here. Here's a good example of how it gets twisted. Donald Trump never said the IRS will not allow him to release his tax returns. He said, my lawyers have recommended to me not to release my tax returns until the audit is finished.
Absolutely. I mean, the IRS is auditing you, so you release and make public knowledge of your tax returns. That makes perfect sense. No, it doesn't. And Donald's wise to listen to the people he hired to help protect him. Albeit they are lawyers, but that's what you hire them for when you're in that position.
Yeah,
and way to be. Yeah, don't listen to the IRS, and don't listen to Lester Holt either.
Yeah, well, it's that twist there. It's the twist in the narrative.
Yes,
okay?
It's absolutely. It shows you how corrupted the media actually is.
Yeah. The IRS says you can release your tax. Of course, they say that. You know, they have no authority, no holding power over it. They don't care. But Trump never claimed that the IRS is forbidding him from releasing tax returns. That the narrative is that my attorneys told me not to. In fact, he emphasized it. I will release my tax returns in contradiction, in defiance of my attorneys, if she releases her emails.
Well, let's just listen to it, John. Here we go.
All right.
I will say this. We have a situation in this country that has to be taken care of. I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted. As soon as she releases them, I will release my tax returns. And that's against my lawyers. They say don't do it. If she releases her emails.
So it's negotiable?
It's not negotiable. No, let her release the email. Why did she delete 33,000?
Well, I'll let her ask.
Yeah, so, dear Lester, it's not negotiable. What are you talking about negotiable? Release?
Yeah, like, okay.
Turn over the emails, and I'll release my tax returns, even though my attorneys say don't do it.
Yeah. Negotiable in what way? Like, she only negotiate on the number of emails that she'll release to get you to release.
She's already done that. She's already done. How about what? She gets immunity? What? She
Yeah.
gets a pardon. You pardon her when you become president, Mr. Trump? What do you mean negotiable? Lester Holt, negotiable. Yeah. So that was the best line of the night for Donald Trump when he said, "You release the emails and I'll release my tax returns." And then I didn't play it. And right after that, Lester admonishes the audience. We had an agreement. Don't be applauding like that, you nasty, nasty bucket of deplorables out there in the audience.
Well, I just thought, it was his best line, and he probably should have hammered it home a little bit more. You know, again, had he just had a little bit more ammunition. I guess that's my point. He's like, when he did address things, he had a great opening line, but then there was nothing to really just, drive that stake through her heart kind of thing. I was like, you need an opening line here. Yeah, 33,000 emails. Oh, by the way, we just learned, Hillary, 1,000 of those were David Petraeus, the guy that Congress indicted for compromising classified information. And the FBI and everybody else is all, let's hang this guy. And you walk away scot-free for doing worse than what he did?
Yeah, and if you do it, don't you dare do it. Your name's not Clinton. Yeah, the thing is, I think, more to Donald's thing, to his reaction to all this, I think he was more worried about being bullied by Lester Holt than he was about having. So he was always, it was like he was in a hurry. He had to go and he wanted to get all his points out. He didn't want to take his time and actually drill down, like you said. So he was glossing over things instead of taking his time, doing it to hell with Lester and Mrs. Clinton standing over there looking all smug and telling people, get the fact checker out. Get the fact checker. Fact checker. You go to my website for the fact checker.
Yeah. Well, that could be. I don't know that. I don't know what his thinking was, but I do know this. He didn't have what he needed to counter anything. If he was going into this thing worried about Lester Holt coming after him, or worried about the sexist charges that would ensue afterwards, or whatever it was that kind of held him back, he could have still done some real damage and protected himself had he just had a little bit more information in front of him when he countered some of these things.
Yeah, I think the basic thing is with Tim is you better prepare the next damn time. You better be damn prepared the next time. And you better not blow it off. Yeah, you're going to all these little campaign rallies and everything else, but you better put the time in and for these debates.
Yeah, the campaign rallies, it doesn't require a whole lot. You can recite everything that you've said at every other campaign rally. You know, but I wanted, we got about a minute here, and I just want to throw this out here regarding something that Lester Holt said. There was a phrase he used that I caught.
Okay.
And I'll repeat it here. We'll go to break. We'll come back and discuss it. The reason he was asking Donald Trump about returning, sharing his tax returns, he used the phrase, Americans, the burden Americans have to pay. That phrase struck me. That is a strictly leftist phrase. The burden Americans have to bear. That was it. The burdens Americans have to bear. What American wants to bear that burden, and why is it a burden? It shouldn't be a burden. It shouldn't be a burden because we shouldn't have to pay it, for crying out loud.
We're talking about the burden that Americans have to pay, yet you have not released your tax returns.
Yeah, and the phrasing of that was to set Trump up as the bad guy. You Americans are all paying taxes, and Trump isn't. So that allowed Hillary to jump into that. Oh, gee, what's he hiding? What's he hiding? We got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll continue. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Ever wonder how the credit card companies make their money? Well, think about this. If you owe $25,000 on 5 different credit cards and you make your minimum payments every month, here's what it's going to cost you. Are you sitting down? You'll shell out over $13,000 in additional interest, and it's going to take over 13 years to pay off your original $25,000 balance. That's how they make money. Now it's your turn to fight back by calling the Debt Solutions Network. We'll work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. We promise we can and will reduce your debt. Call right now for a free 15-minute debt analysis. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
If you've got joint pain, let me ask you a question. Would you like a high-quality knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Now, just in case your reception isn't great, let me ask you again. Would you like a pain-relieving knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Well, if you have Medicare insurance, you could qualify for these pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And these are high-quality braces. They are very comfortable, and they've helped thousands relieve their pain. Now, I'd like you to imagine going on vacation, playing with your grandkids, just living your life again without pain. The Mobility Hotline is a referral service that connects folks with Medicare coverage and other insurance to accredited companies offering pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And don't you worry about the Medicare paperwork. They'll handle it all for you, and they'll deliver your braces for free. Call the Mobility Hotline now. The call's free. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hagels. I just want to make a quick comment. Joe said something here, was talking about Lester Holtz questioning Donald Trump on his tax returns. And in Trump's response, Hillary Clinton tried to allude to the fact she has no proof, but in liberal world, you don't need proof. You just insinuate, and it doesn't matter. Remember Harry Reid saying Mitt Romney doesn't pay any taxes, and everybody bought it, and it was later found out to be a lie, and Harry Reid said, so what, it worked. Hillary Clinton did that by saying, oh, well, what's he hiding? Has he paying any taxes? And Lester Holt's question was a leading question. Basically, I think he kind of cued Hillary Clinton there a little bit. Oh, you know, the burden that Americans have to bear, meaning the pain of taxes. Okay, Trump's response somewhere in there was she made the insinuation: is he not paying any taxes, or maybe he hasn't paid any taxes? And he said, how did she say it? How did she say it? Because his response was in context. I want to keep it in context here. Let's see how she said.
Here's how she said that they shouldn't even pay any federal income tax. Talking about I don't know, some casino deal or something back in the day.
Oh
right?
yeah. 1973, by the way.
Yeah, and Trump goes, well, that makes me smart because he used the system and didn't pay. You know, he used the system, didn't pay any tax liability on it, which is what every damn American's done throughout our history. We started our freaking nation on a freaking tax, trying to get away with not paying taxes.
And that's my point. I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly my point. I had posted on Facebook today an article I saw this morning by the Washington Post. I guess there was a group of people at a debate watch party in North Carolina, and somebody from the Washington Post was there monitoring it. Okay?
Well, here, let's get the rest of this quote. He says, that makes me smart. And Clinton goes, so if he paid zero, that means zero for troops, zero for vets, zero for schools or health. I think it's probably not at all enthusiastic about having the rest of our country see what the real reasons are, because it must be something really important, even terrible. That he's trying to hide. Hi, Harry Reid. Meet your twin cousin, Hillary. What difference does it make as long as we get what we need out of it? Hey, Mr. Romney never paid taxes either, right?
Yeah.
Same BS. Same exact BS, and Holt let him do it again.
Yeah, well, I think, again, he could have countered that very easily.
Yes, he could have.
Yeah, I'm not against paying taxes to take care of the troops and the vets, but I am against paying taxes for taking care of the schools because it's not the government's job, and I am against paying taxes for health because it's not the government's job.
Well, what the hell does Hillary Clinton care about the veterans for? What does she think about the troops? She's been in office long enough. Do you think she could have done something for the VA? Oh, my goodness, no. She had plenty of time to do that. Could she have done something about some people that were stuck trying to fight for their lives in freaking Libya? Hell no. She couldn't have done a damn thing about it. It wasn't her responsibility. She doesn't take any responsibility. But she wants to go out and throw out accusations that Trump's not paying his taxes. That's BS. If he wasn't paying any taxes for that damn long, he'd already be in jail.
Yeah.
Crying out loud, that's BS, and everybody damn well knows it, except they're going to go out there, and the media is going to be complicit in this freaking character assassination. Is exactly what this is.
Well, again, you know what the simple answer would have been for Trump is what he has said. I get audited every year. I've been audited every year for the past 15 years. If you think for 1 minute that I was not paying taxes, that I would not be nailed to the wall.
Well, what he should have said is, I'm not the one trying to hide anything, Hillary. You're the one hiding all your emails.
Yeah, Hillary, we know you filed your tax return, and we know that all of your charity donations went to the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah. Where you have 6% goes to the actual charity, and then 94% goes to the foundation.
Yeah, I mean, but the idea, he had himself covered if he'd just come back to it. Well, he mentioned I'm under audit. I've been under audit every year for the past 15 years. Okay? If they haven't found anything in 15 years worth of audits that I've done wrong, why are you making a big deal about it now?
But the liberal media at the Washington Post latches onto that particular line.
Yeah. So let me build on something else Joe said here. We're talking about the idea that what American in their right mind, what American, I don't care who they are, I don't care what they say, what American in their right mind gets up in January, gets all their stuff together to file their taxes and says, boy, I sure hope I pay my fair share of taxes this year.
Yeah, according to Joe Biden, you do that if you're patriotic.
I've never heard anybody ever say, oh, yeah, tax season's coming up. I can't wait to see if I've paid my fair share.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what I paid. Now you're hoping you don't get audited, and you're hoping that you don't owe too much.
Yeah, so here's my point. And I'm going to put this in total context here for our listeners, although you probably know what I'm going to say here, but I'm going to say it anyways because it needs to be said. Again, I'm pointing to this article from the Washington Post that this debate watch group, and they were watching the debate, and apparently somebody from the Washington Post was there. Mary Jordan, okay? When Trump said that not paying taxes makes me smart, undecided voters in North Carolina gasped. Okay, now, I want to read you just a quote from one of the guys, all right? Donald Trump so captured Ron Tonley's attention as an outsider ready to tear down the system, just the one who might break Washington logjam, the doer to build new airports and highways, that he was considering voting for him. But Trump's response Monday night when Hillary Clinton accused him of not paying his Senate federal tax left Tonley appalled. That makes me smart, Trump said, unapologetic and smiling during the presidential debate. All right? That comment caused a gasp in the hotel conference room where Tonley and 5 other undecided voters. See, that's what I'm telling you. Not a lot of undecided voters out there. In this battleground state, we're watching the debate.
So that was a total of 6 people.
Yeah, that's offensive, he says. That's offensive. The same number that show up at a Clinton rally, by the way. That's offensive. I pay taxes, said Tonley, a program director for a local council of governments. Now, I'm going to put this in context. Let me put this in context. Every American pays taxes in terms of taxes that are taken out of your paycheck. Okay? Everybody does. If you work legally, you pay taxes because your employer is required to deduct from your paycheck taxes. All right? But so you can say, yes, legally, technically, you pay taxes. Now, when you file your tax return at the end of the year, most people in America, get refunds, which means you may pay X number of dollars, but you're overpaying taxes in most cases.
You're giving the government an interest-free loan.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, I mean, I don't pay taxes anymore because the money I receive now is through Social Security and pensions. I don't have to pay taxes on those. It's a government pension, tax-free.
Not yet.
Okay? Now, but here's the point. Every year that I filed taxes while I was in the workforce, every year, I pay somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000 to $8,000, depending on where I was working at the time. And I always had a refund, which means every year I always overpaid the amount of money that I was supposed according to my tax bracket kind of thing. Okay? So the government always takes too much anyway. But I've never in my wildest imagination have I had anybody that I've ever been around, worked with, worked for, or anything else, sit there and say something along the lines of, oh, gee, I got a tax refund. I guess I didn't pay my fair share. Or nobody ever wrote a letter to the IRS to say, hey, you know what, keep that money. Keep that money because, after all, it's all about the troops, it's all about the vets, it's all about the schools, it's all about health care. No, because Americans, by their very nature, do not believe that they should have to pay taxes. And let's not forget, taxes were never collected in this country till after the Civil War. Okay? There was in the Constitution, states were responsible for paying taxes if they wanted to. Okay? It was an option. There was no way for states to go out and mandate that people pay income tax or anything else, because the fundamental right of the Constitution guarantees us or assures us the right to private property. What you earn, you get to keep.
Yeah, well, this has been going on for a long time, John. I would say the first time that people should be able to recall was 1773.
Well, I do know this.
When the British Parliament passed the Tea Act, which allowed the British East India Company to put tax to tea.
And actually, the whole reason we had an American Revolution.
Well, that started it, yes. Taxation without representation thing. People remember that. So paying taxes is not something Americans like to do.
And it's not even something that Americans were required to do until such time that, and even with the Civil War, it wasn't mandatory per se. It was only when the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, was established that it became mandatory. And it's not even mandatory that you pay taxes. It's mandatory that you file.
Yeah, well, and that was started by what party in American politics?
Yeah, we got to go to a break, guys. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. The ConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net. Exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back. And this is a Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. I want to jump over here because we've only got about 8-9 minutes here left in the show, and I want to at least breach this topic here. And I'm hoping that this is one of the topics that Trump just starts beating Clinton to death with. He just needs to beat her senseless, beat her to the point that she starts having a meltdown, that the eyes start rolling in the back of her head, and the head starts shaking, and all that stuff that we've been hearing. They'll bring about a seizure. You may think, well, that's not very nice. Well, she's not a very nice person.
Nope, she doesn't have a soul. You watched her the other night, and that's the problem I had. She has no soul. She has no concern for America.
No, none whatsoever. The FBI keeps doing these, what they call document dumps. They're coming out. I think the last major one was right around Labor Day. And the timing of them, is up for debate and everything else. I'm not worried about that. The point is they're coming out now. And some of them are some of the things that we're finding in here. Again, the first thing, I can't understand how the FBI has all this stuff and still could not find grounds for obstruction of justice or collusion or compromising classified information. With all this information, I mean, if you got the IQ of seaweed. But I guess, again, when you're giving everybody immunity that would actually be called up to testify, I guess that's the reasoning as to why no reasonable prosecutor would ever take this case. They got nobody to show up at the trial. We got all the evidence, but nobody to testify. Yeah, that won't go real well. Anyway, Catherine Hedridge over at Fox News, one of the few good people over at Fox News, actually does her homework before she comes out and says something. She has an article out here. Romanian hacker Guccifer breached Hillary Clinton confidant Sidney Blumenthal's email account. Remember this guy? And Trump even brought his name up the other night, but again, forgot. It just did not drive home the point. In 2013, it set off an explosive chain of events. It was that breach, that hacking, that showed, or what's the word? Exposed that Hillary Clinton had a private email server. That was the event that brought it all about. The Sidney Blumenthal's email account was hacked, and in doing that, it revealed that Hillary Clinton had a private email server. That's what set this whole thing in motion. It says the details were contained in the latest. I'm sorry, I misread here. It set off an explosive chain. Let me revamp here. Get back here. Rewind. Chain of events among a tight circle of Clinton family aides, including one confidential assistant whose extensive role in managing some of the former secretary's mobile devices and computer security requests is only now becoming clear. The details were contained in the latest document dubbed by FBI files on Clinton's personal email use. The FBI chose late Friday afternoon to release nearly 200 highly redacted pages of so-called 302 files from the Bureau's investigation, a release that quickly became overshadowed by the impending presidential debate on Monday. So last week...
And that's the reason why I looked up the FBI's page the other day, and I read you that disclaimer yesterday.
Okay, and the fact that these things were redacted. If there was no security problem, why are you redacting things, James Comey?
And they are redacted, John. It looks like they were shot with a shotgun.
Yeah, that's like releasing the UFO files, and you see the only words that are in there are verbs and adjectives. You know,
if any.
Yeah, if that. So, how does this guy sit before the committee and say, we really looked for obstruction of justice. We really tried to find some stuff there, and then you release stuff. And it's redacted like it's a top secret document, and we don't even know who the players are. There's something It's just not right. It's not, somebody is just lying through their teeth.
This government is corrupt, and now it's the FBI is politicized, and Heritage's report is just proven once again that it's politicized. And you do these document dumps on a Friday for the reason it wasn't having to do with there was a Monday debate. They do it on Friday because nobody's paying attention on Fridays.
Right. Nobody starts paying attention to anything till usually late Sunday afternoon. And, they always do that. That's why a lot of the stuff that Obama does, that's why his weekly message is on a Saturday. He doesn't really want everybody to hear it. He just wants his base to hear it, that kind of stuff. Anyway, it says the files included new details of the tech intervention by Clinton aide Huma Abedin and Clinton Foundation official Justin Cooper, and a third individual, a Hillary Clinton aide named Monica Hanley. Hanley was interviewed twice by the FBI on January 11th and June 23rd, working for Hillary Clinton as a confidential assistant. Hanley joined the State Department in 2009 as Hillary Clinton began her job as Secretary of State. Previously, the 35-year-old worker, she worked as an intern for Clinton while she served as a U.S. Senator for New York. Okay, so she got her bones in New York. Hanley emerged as the go-to staffer, often tasked with finding replacements to satisfy Clinton's chosen use of non-secure BlackBerries. Hanley stated she tried to find BlackBerries for sale on eBay. A woman making $200 million a year selling speeches, for crying out loud, couldn't buy a brand new BlackBerry, and admitted that, no, I'll tell you why. It's because it was probably less traceable that way. And, like buying a hot gun kind of stuff. Admitted that she made a trip to blah, blah, blah. Okay, in her interviews, Hanley told the FBI that during her time at the State Department, she learned specifically how to handle and transport classified information paper, but could not recall who provided the training.
Oh, come on.
Anyway, it says that Hanley received a top secret SCI clearance at the Department of State. Despite the training, during one trip to Russia, she specifically was criticized for leaving a classified document in a hotel suite she shared with Clinton.
What?
She left classified information in a hotel. All right? That in and of itself...
not just in a hotel while they were in Russia.
Yeah, it could have been in a hotel in downtown Washington, D.C.
Yes, I get that, but that's bad, but this makes it even worse.
Yeah, and so that she was told by the Department of State, not prosecuted, but she was told that shouldn't even have been in the suite. In fact, she probably shouldn't even have had it. Okay? She was involved in the response to the hack by Gusfer, who's real, blah, blah, blah. It was during her second interview with the FBI on June 23rd that Hanley finally revealed details of a conference call she had with Abedin and top Clinton Foundation fundraiser Cooper. Clinton Foundation fundraiser Cooper, as they scrambled over concerns related to a reported hack by Sidney Blumenthal's email account in the spring of 2013, first reported by a smoking gun. They redacted the other person that was on that call in the FBI documents. I wonder who that was. Okay? Cooper provided Hanley on an Apple Mac laptop from the Clinton Foundation. Her laptop came from the Clinton Foundation while she was working for Hillary Clinton at the Department of State.
Here's the part that's starting to get good, this next part, John.
Okay. The FBI, let's see. Hanley stated that Abedin selected the new name of the email account, hrod17clintonmail.com. In her January 11th statement to the FBI, Hanley initially said the computer given to her by Cooper was a Mac Air and that it took several days for the transfer of emails to the laptop to be performed in her apartment.
Which is bullcrap. But the other interesting part there is Abedin said she didn't know anything about the email server.
Yeah.
But Abedin is making up the damn username.
Yeah, and then there was a transfer of emails to a thumb drive. Okay? Maybe that's where the 33,000 emails are at, on a thumb drive somewhere. But anyway...
Well, and we know that the emails contained sensitive, secret, classified
information.
Compartmentalized information.
And the FBI has redacted all this information. I could see, if there is classified information, I could see redacting that. but you should not have redacted the names involved, because I bet you somewhere underneath that Sharpie is the name Clinton.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to go, guys. It's time to close the show up for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, 3 o'clock on the West Coast, 6 o'clock on the East Coast. God, I love you for listening to us. We love you. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hako, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.